Oh yeah, so good. G'day there. Welcome back to the race side. How we doing, gang? It's been a while. When was our last stream? It feels like it's been absolutely forever. So much has happened, but also not a lot has happened. We are days closer to the Bad Batch season. What do we call it? Premiere, final, first episode of the last season of the Bad Batch. It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait. In order for us to fully absorb all the goodness that the Bad Batch has to offer, we are going to be having a bunch of streams here, starting with this one, baby. Bad Batch Season 1 recap and discussion today. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great time. We got a lot to go through. There's like bloody billions of these episodes. So we have so much to go to. But I am so excited to be here with you today. Good. It's good to be here. I missed you all. I don't know why. It feels like it's been forever since our last stream, but we're here anyway. How we're doing, chat? Who watched the Super Bowl? Go. What are they called? Chiefs. Hey. We got Texas in the chat with Lightning Master Yava. JS is here even. Sinister's in the chat as well. Kirsty. I should really be calling you Jedi Knight Kirsty because that's your official title. Hey, how you doing? Skywalker's Academy saying hello to everybody. I unintentionally missed and all those lurkers. There's those lurkers. There's so many of you that lurk. Oh my god, shout out to you. Like there's it's very funny on Instagram or Twitter or other platforms. Just randomly, people will comment, can't wait for this show, or I've been, watching this. Can't wait for the next show and things. And I'm just like, who are you? Respectfully, who are you? I was like, I don't know. You watch me? You must be the lurkers. So shout out to the lurkers. Appreciate you watching. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're enjoying the show. Almost in Vegas, says Troha. Hopefully I'll catch you all again soon. You know who you could catch in Vegas? Sin City Sith. I know he's there. That's hilarious, brother. That's awesome. I know we haven't seen you in a while, but I hope you're doing well, Troha. Working hard on the grind. Got to love it. Didn't watch a second. That's really funny because it was the first NFL game that I watched. It was actually it's probably because it was a Super Bowl. It was very interesting. It was like super high pace. I loved it. It was cool. Safe travels. Troha. Watched the Super Bowl. Sinister. Watched it. Yeah, I feel like by the end of it, I finally a little bit grasp the idea of how it works. It's all about the plays and you set up to do a play and then, but there's just so much stopping. They just like run for like a second and then they stop and they're all like, okay, regroup. So that's pretty much all it was. But it got really crazy in the end. It was cool. $2 dues coming in from us, CG. Didn't watch a second. Memes will live on forever. They will. They will on forever. They will. But anyway, let's zoom in a little bit. We're going to get nice and close today. We've got a fantastic show ahead of us. We're going to be going through Season 1 of the Bad Batch, which all the prep and kind of things, notes and everything I was getting ready for this show today was really fun going through Season 1. And there was a bunch of things from Season 1 of the Bad Batch that I had totally forgotten about, that I had totally just missed. And when it came up again, I was like, oh, this character was in it. And then this person was here and this is what happened. Season 1 was fantastic. I really enjoyed Season 1. I love rewatching it, thoroughly rewatched it with great enjoyment. And I know people have mixed opinions on things. I mean, there's definitely some episodes that I don't prefer, but there's some really fantastic stuff in there as well. So we're going to be going through all of that today and more. So stay tuned. Strap in. You gotta strap in. Even Kirsty's saying she had forgotten entire episodes. Yeah, there was so much because there's 16 episodes in Season 1. We're going to be going through all of them one by one. And if you, like me as of a few days ago, haven't watched The Bad Batch for a hot minute, I'm going to be going through a little episode synopsis for each one. I didn't write these synopsises. These are synopsi? What's the plural of synopsis? Synopsises? Synopsi? I don't know. I'll be reading through these just on Wikipedia so that I'm not crediting these episode overviews in terms of what the episode is. But then we're going to get into each episode. So let's jump into it. Let's stop dilly-dallying. Hey, Petra coming in from Quebec. Oh, love it. Love the Canadians. Got a bunch of Canadian friends. Shout out to Canada. I was about to say Canada. That's hilarious. Great morning so far. Can't wait for today's comment. It's going to be good. Yeah, what is it? Synopses? I don't know what it is. All right, let's get into it, gang. We are starting off with the very first episode, which I could argue, and we'll find out by the end of all these discussions, could be my favorite episode of The Bad Batch ever. I know that's a big statement, but I think it's true. I love this episode. I love this episode. So we are talking season 1, premiere episode, Aftermath, is very, very good. This was a big one. Now, before we get into our thoughts about it, let me briefly remind you what this episode was. Let's put our whiteboard music on, nice and chill. Let's chill it down. There we go. Okay, so episode 1 of season 1 was titled Aftermath. Let me tell you what it was about. Again, this is not, I didn't write this. This is just the Wikipedia overview of the episode. At the tail end of the Clone War. Should I do it in that voice? While the Bad Batch defective clones Hunter, Tech, Crosshair, and Wrecker, plus cyborg clone Echo, are assisting Jedi Master Deepa Bilappa, I always stuff that one up, and her Padawan Caleb Juma on Kala. Order 66 is issued, and Bilappa is killed by her clones. The Bad Batch receives the order too, but only Crosshair feels complied to obey it, and Hunter lets Juma escape. Returning to Camino, the Bad Batch learn the war is over, that an empire has replaced the Republic, and they meet a young girl, Omega, who is another defective clone. Admiral Tarkin arrives to evaluate the clone's viability and sends the Bad Batch to eliminate a group of insurgents on Onderon, where they discover that the insurgents are harmless refugees under Saw Gerrera, who refuse to submit to the Empire. Hunter has his men abandon the mission and return for Omega. They are arrested for treason, and Tarkin has Crosshair's inhibitor chips enhanced, turning him against his squad mates, forcing the Bad Batch and Omega to flee without him. That is the overview of episode 1. This one, if you remember, this is was like a movie. This was like over an hour, this episode. Oh my goodness, I've missed some soupies while I was reading that. Lady Jennifer Snow coming in with a $10 dues. I'm so glad you were doing this. I just finished rewatching both seasons. Boy, did I forget a lot. I know, there's so much in there that I just did not remember. Hey, Sin City, coming in hot. How you doing, bud? But thank you so much, Jennifer, for the $10 dues. And yeah, me too. We're going to go through literally fine-tooth comb through each episode, so it's going to be a great day. Hey, Appo. CG coming in with another $2 dues. Who was that Jedi covered up early in the episode? Covered up. Oh, was that Shark T? Are you talking about when they arrived back on Camino? Was that like Shark T's like 20th death that we had? I think it is. I think it was. If that's who you're referencing. Hey, Sedge. Hey, how you doing? So well, it says he's innocent. But anyway, what are we thoughts on Aftermath? Aftermath. This episode I thought was such an epic way to open the season, especially the Clone Wars ending. Season 7 of Clone Wars, insanely massive, just really emotional, insane. It came back, everyone's loving it. So it had to follow the back of that. It was, I'm trying to think of when, because Clone Wars finished, season 7 finished in 2020. And this aired May 2021. So it wasn't long. It wasn't long for I think it was a year, didn't it? Finish on the May 4th as well. So it had to back up Clone Wars. And I thought this episode had the gravity of that a premiere should have, and the intensity that a premiere should have, to really say, this is what we're doing. There's high stakes. Order 66. I think the fact that they rehashed over Order 66 and just didn't go, so it's post Order 66, was really smart. I think that was really good. I think there was a lot of intensity with that moment, and actually explaining what happened to their chips with Order 66, I found very, very fascinating. So that's I think why I love this episode. It was just It's that funny thing where it's like Order 66 is so like gut wrenching, like so many horrible things happen, but then that's why there's the really good storytelling in there because it's like, oh, this is like really interesting. But CG coming in saying it was a really good episode. I like seeing the clone state of mind post Order 66, absolutely, because I was always so confused with what happened to these guys with that if they did Order 66. Actually, down the table. Okay, well then, who is that lady that were trolleying out? Of Camino. Aftermath was absolutely brilliant. Says lightning, good soldiers follow orders is such a haunting phrase now, and it started in this episode. It started in episode 1, 100%. So it was directly responsible for Tech's fall. You know what? In my season 2 watch, I totally get that now. Yes, I am with you. He's Zin. He's not dead. I don't think he's dead. He's dead. But I do agree that I blame Saul completely for it. Very good episode. I loved it. Says Apo to Aftermath. Stop it. It's hurting me. I really didn't think I would like this show, and episode 1 had me hooked. Says Chicken. I love it. Yeah, it's a really fantastic episode. It goes up there for me for one of the best, like in terms of the TV shows we've had. It's probably for me personally, it's second the best season premiere of any show for me. It ties first with episode. Sorry, I'm going to confuse myself here. Season 2, episode 1 of Mandalorian. I forget the name of it, but the one where they're on Tatooine, that's like the best one. But this is pretty much tie first for me because it's just that good. Fleet's coming and saying very strong sibling dynamic established right off the bat. Rekka having sarcasm and sass in the addition to being a himbo? It's a himbo. I don't know what. Was great. I wish they would lean into that more. Absolutely. And I think it was something that's really interesting, and not interesting, but just was that like gave a lot of show of that dynamic and expressed that dynamic really well. Was hilariously the hall scene, like the photo that I've used here, the food hall scene, the mess hall, where they had that fight with the regs. I love that they call them regs. The regs was super fun. It was just such a great expression of the state of everything at that point. Kirsten coming in saying Aftermath was a really strong introduction to the show. I enjoyed it both originally and should I be doing this in a Scottish accent, Kirsten? Appreciated it even more than on the rewatch. A good 9 out of 10 for me. And we know how salty I was about the Bad Batch. Is that good? Is that good, Kirsten? Anyway, sorry. You're actually giving serious serious input here. 9 out of 10. Yes, you, Kirsty, if you didn't know, isn't a massive fan of Bad Batch. But that's a pretty high rating for someone who doesn't really love it. Which it shows how good Aftermath is. I see a legend in the chat, my friends. I see a legend in the chat. Member for 8 freaking months, dude. Oh my god, I didn't even know that. That's insane. G'day there. Hey Tony, how you doing? A bunch of you already have, but if you haven't, please check out the Radio Hour episode me and Tony did last weekend. Oh my god, I got something in my eye as soon as I started saying it. We did the Radio Hour last week. Fantastic conversation. We had so much to say, and it was just such a great connection. Yes, definitely check it out if you haven't already. But a lot of you had. Appreciate ya. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Cabophonic, even drop it in the chat. This is a big show today. Appreciate you. Love it. How you doing? Sinister Moore coming in saying, I loved Aftermath. Let me get the little... Oh, no, I'll leave it on there. Loved seeing the beginning of Kanan lose his master and all the heartache he endured. It made the story he told Ezra and Rebels have a lot more meaning. Yeah, isn't it insane that, just that freaking, 5 minutes of this episode that Kanan was in it, really actually helped shape so much of the story, that backstory that he tells in Rebels. It's connects so well. 100%. I totally agree. Hey. Look at the gang. Gang's all here. Chad, you're popping off tonight. I love you all. This is so fun. I love it. But anyway, this is episode 1, Aftermath. Let's check in. Episode 2. We got Cut and Run. Great little, do you call that a pun? Not really a pun. But the fact that they used Cut and Run, as in Cut LaQuain, the greatest of the clones. I think I put Cut LaQuain in my S tier when I did my clone rankings. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he's S tier for me. But anyway, if you've forgotten what this episode was, let me tell you. I'm going to get close into the camera again. Cut and Run. The Bad Batch and Omega seek refuge on Seleucami with clone deserter Cut LaQuain, who tells them about the inhibitor chips which programmed the regular clones and Crosshair to be loyal to the Empire after Order 66. With increased military presence from the Empire, Cut plans to escape with his family, but they discover the newly introduced chain codes are needed to book public transport. Knowing Cut would be arrested if he tried to get one, Tech and Echo steal some chain codes and Omega helps him deliver them to Cut and his family in time for them to board the transport. Hunter attempts to send Omega with Cut as he thinks she needs a family, but she decides to stay with the Bad Batch. That is the overview of episode 2, Cut and Run. Cut LaQuain, you can't deny that this guy is a legend. Well, that's so nice, Lightning. You're so nice to me all the time. Love you, champ. Justice for Fives, yeah. Yeah, true. Why are we... oh, dude, we're all bringing up their clone ranking, aren't we? I love it. But, Cut and Run. Again, this is... Okay, so I'll kind of do it as we're having these discussions because this character, Cut LaQuain, fantastic. We haven't seen this guy for like 40 years. Not really. But since season 2 of the Clone Wars... great to check in with him. This was super fun, and I think because with the whole point of the Bad Batch storyline, I think, is to discover the experience of the clones. Because we see, obviously, with the Bad Batch, we check in with Rex. We have Echo's kind of weird cyborg experience. We meet all these other clones that are working for the Empire, like Hauser, that other guy, Ringo, or something that we saw in season 2. The Bad Batch show is all about the clone experience. And Cut LaQuain has such a fascinating clone experience where he's a deserter and he already had left the clone army and the Republic, and then now the Bad Batch are essentially the same thing because the Republic doesn't exist anymore. Really, really fascinating. So I loved that they teamed these two up, and so early on too, episode 2. My goodness. But let me know, chat, what you think of this episode, Cut and Run. It's just me, or did Rico look like an overgrown gardener in this episode? He did. The whole outfit thing that they went through in this episode was hilarious. Hilarious. It took wonderful. Well, that's one way to say it. Oh, I knew. Yes, as I was putting this together, I'm like, Tim is gonna love when we start talking about Cut LaQuain. I literally thought of you, bro. I was like, he's gonna love this. He's gonna love this. Definitely coming in saying 1,000 out of 10. Hang on. For me, this was a great episode. So much dad energy, getting to see Echo use those arc skills. I love getting to see him be a ninja. He's a really good ninja, isn't he? They do so much good work with the visual storytelling in season 1. 1,000 out of 10 for Geflin. I love that. And you're totally right. There's actually some interesting conversations in here. Like if you only wanted to watch a handful of episodes from season 1 to just just remember it again, this would probably be high on my list of episodes that you should watch because there's some pretty epic conversations with Hunter, Cut, and even Echo here as well. Just kind of throwing around some ideas and what they're doing and trying to get an understanding of the galaxy was just done so well with the writing of those 3 characters. It's a really great point. I like that. Cut LaQuain is an innovator. Justice for all property. I am giving them the most justice for all tier lists. Sam, you know that. Hey, I love it. CT 17 just uploaded my profile picture. Clone Wars style. I love it. It's so good. Is that season 7, Anakin? I love it. Improvement of Sue's clothes from her first appearance. She's actually dresses like a farm. That's true. I mean, I don't know what was happening on the but behind the scenes for season 2 of Clone Wars. But we had that wild season 1 and 2, that wild Ayla Sakura in in that episode in Jedi Crash, and then we had Sue, who's freaking Wilden in this in Clone Wars as well. But yeah, true. This is more modest. She's a farmer here. I love it. CG coming in with $5 redo. One thing episode 2 showed it was, despite Order 66 being completed, we still see the effects of the order still exist on the clones. Are more mean overall. That's a good point. They kind of it shifts something. Whether it was literally by the inhibitor chip or emotionally. Despite Order 66 being completed, we still see the effects of that order still exist on the clones. They are more mean overall. That's a really interesting point. I haven't really thought of it in that way, but that is a good perspective. I like that, CG. With the $5 reduce. Thank you so much for your generosity. Appreciate it so much. I think this episode was great to build Hunter and Amiga's relationship. Hunter is knowing on how to treat her like a kid, and what Cut says, not to treat her like a soldier, and accepting her in the squad. Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really big story theme through the whole of the Bad Batch. There's the action adventure mission, there's the soldier storyline, there's like the political storyline, and then there's this really wholesome father or parent and child storyline that happens with these two, and that's such a big thing with Star Wars. Luke and Vader, even like from mentor to not even like family related, but just family or mentor, and how that relationship dynamic works. But like parent to child is very strong in Star Wars, so it makes sense that this is actually one of the key storylines in the Bad Batch, and it's one of my favorite storylines of the dynamic of Hunter and Omega, and how that plays out. So that's well said, JS. I love that. Agreed. Love the episode. Return to a great character and a look at the impact of the Empire. 100%. Jesse in the chat. How you doing, Jess? I love how all the clones are trying to hide their face with a hat. Meanwhile, Hunter is just flaunting his kind of headband. I know, you would think the guy maybe wear a mask or something. Like the headband, the hair, and the face paint. Pretty freaking obvious that he's Hunter. Yeah, that is a great point, Lightning. You should be a ninja. Hey, Subby in the chat. Bad Batch stories hit harder than most songs. They do. They really do. I've enjoyed seeing how the Empire started to go all Big Brother on the civilians and taking control away from the people. I enjoyed Omega's story in this one, 8 out of 10. I see. Maybe we should all be doing what Kirsty's doing. Maybe we should all be doing an out of 10 for each episode. We should probably be doing that. But I love it. Fantastic overview there, Kirsty. I love how when people come into the chat, we all just go nuts with them. I love it. Hey, Jess. This is so good. This really was a great building and character development. A 1-2 punch of an episode. It's so well balanced between Hunter learning to be a dad, and the Empire immediately exerting more control. Yeah, 100%. Also, isn't good. That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie, so it was really popping out in there. She really was. Like, damn. Like, again, who was working on those early seasons of Clone Wars? Sheesh. Anyway. This is, I think, wow, actually, Senator Morgan's changed his profile picture to season 7 Morley. I love it. I love it. So good. Cannon Runner was an 8 out of 10 as well. Also updated my profile. Yeah, boom. There you go. I love it. This is the way the clones talk to the civilians. Their barked orders were more threatening and aggressive. It was obvious. That's true. 100%. I think it shows that, like, as much as it was kind of gradual, where it's like things slowly faded out or faded in of like what was Republic to Empire, but I think watching this for the first time, I didn't realize how really quickly that happened. Like, it would have been a matter of weeks of like things just returning, and then yeah, you're right, barking orders. That's a good way to put it. That's fair. That is fair. Episode 1, but yeah, drop the ratings. It was a 10 out of 10 for Aftermath. Episode 2 is either a 7 or 8. Fair enough. Episode 3, let's go. It's so funny. Even though I put these together, I keep forgetting what's the next episode. So I'm like excited for each one that comes up. Episode 3, replacements. This is a darker one. showing that kind of random surge of darkness that the Clone Wars definitely had through it. You know, as much as these character adventure stories, they had a lot of darkness to it. So let's, before we get into the discussion, what happened if you forgot in episode 3, Replacements? The Bad Batch and Omega are stranded on a moon after the ship was damaged on Saluka Mine, and an auto Moondragon steals the part they need to repair it. Hunter and Omega set out to retrieve it, but Hunter is incapacitated. I really stuttered on that word. Omega continues alone and tracks the dragon, retrieving the part without a fight. On Camino, Tarkin and Admiral Rampage put Crosshair in command of a new unit of conscripted soldiers that are sent out to Onderon to wipe out Guerrera's camp. Guerrera is already gone. Crosshair kills one of the disloyal recruits, but the rest comply and are otherwise successful. Tarkin sees the potential for the conscripted soldiers concerning Camino and Prime Minister Lama Su. I love Lama Su. The guy. Not really. He's not actually that great. All right, how we doing? How we doing, chat? So this episode, again, kind of, it was one of those random, just like side storylines. Yeah, they go to this moon. Like Omega and Hunter like have like some lesson that they both teach each other. Like that's just kind of there. That's solid. That's like that's cool. Good. But the crazy thing of this episode was what kind of the latter part of what I explained there. The whole Crosshair being in charge of conscripted recruits, which is very fascinating. And then going to wipe out Guerrera and then killing one of the recruits. Wilden. What a crazy episode. That is so nuts. It was so nuts. Episode 3 is one of your favorites, says Tim. I love that. Revenge of the Replacements. I love it. Crosshair was awesome in this. He was cutthroat. And this is another one. This was really kind of put his foot down. I'm not just, being a little silly. I'm not playing around here. Crosshair really did show his colors here. I find it fascinating how fast the Empire consolidated their Iron Group of the galaxy, but then I remember that the Republic was already the Empire, unofficially overridden to the Sith. Yeah, true. That's true. It was a nuts episode. Yeah, DB on the money. Must DB on the money here. Evil Crosshair, 8.5, maybe a 9 out of 10 for call you Crosshair for DB. Gotta love it. 8 out of 10 for me, says Gufflin. Just rewatched this a few days ago and remembered being so impressed by the atmosphere. They were also starting to establish Omega's resourcefulness, problem solving, and empathy. I don't know when we should talk about this, but maybe I should talk about it later. But I am still not sold that Omega doesn't have some sort of thing where she can see the Force. I don't think. Maybe it's not Force, but she has some sort of. I think she's similar to Hunter, where she has like heightened senses. I think that's my theory. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. That's a whole other worms. The music also was really great. The music was very good. Don't remember much from this episode. Unfortunately, I need to rewatch. That's why. Yeah, that's okay. The main point from this was just Crosshair killing one of the recruits, which was kind of crazy. Hey Thomas, how you doing? Oh, we're only up to episode 3 of 16, so we got a lot to catch. We got a lot to go, so it's all good. I liked episode 3. It shows the beginning and the end of the clones, seeing them replaced by regular humans into the Stormtrooper Corps. Yeah, which was actually a really sad process. It's a very sad process, but also fair enough. What did I have to say? Crosshair follows his damn orders. Well, good point. Another good episode. I like the darker tones to it. And seeing the beginning of the recruitments, 8.5 out of 10. I do think Omega was very empathetic, but she could possibly be a little Force sensitive. Yeah, I really thought this in season 1. Like, I remember when season 1 was coming out, I was like, oh, she's got to be Force sensitive. But then she wasn't. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't think she will be more of that. To be honest, some of the recruits reminded me of people I knew when I was in the military, ones who joined just because it was a job, with steady pay for college, etc. Just ordinary men. There you go. Again, the incredible amount of various vets and military personnel in this chat is I think higher than usual. CG, Sin, Julie, who else? There was someone else. There was a fourth one. There's another one, but anyway. But yeah, very interesting. If Omega is force sensitive as a clone, then they all are. Well, what if this is a theory where that was like Palpatine already starting to try and make a clone that was force sensitive, and she was like this kind of test subject, and he was, trying to do the whole injecting midichlorians into her or something, not specifically Omega, but just like any clones, and she was one of them, and it didn't quite work. That's my theory, that she could be one of Palpatine's like test subjects, because obviously they want her back bad. They want to, in the whole, even up into end of season 2, they're like, we need her back. So. Yeah, but trooper. 8 out of 10. Love seeing the shift to the Imperial troops. It was kind of sad, good, bad. It was kind of, yeah. Omega is confirmed forces that are expected to appear in a circus season 2 as a baby Yoda's apprentice. That'd be funny, Dennis. That'd be very funny. I don't think that would be the case, because she would be quite old then. But that's an interesting one. DB. That's probably, yeah. Sorry, bro. Yeah, that is probably you. And Sinister. Oh my god, 5. That is such a high rate. I love that. The other Bad Batches should be as well, since they all got heightened abilities due to Jimmy. Well, that's my thing of like, maybe it's not forced then. I just think she has what Hunter has. I mean, Hunter, you could almost argue, is that, like, maybe not force. Instead of take the word the force out, maybe I want to replace it with the word midichlorians. Maybe they were experimenting with trying to heighten midichlorians. Which I guess is the same thing as trying to get them to have the force. But I don't know. We love you, Lightning. Champion. Shout out to the vets. She's not the spy. Who? Words lead to X-Call. They sure do. The armor is the spy. That's what we're talking about. She's not. Anyway, that's episode 3, Replacements. The next episode we got going on. Episode 4. Cornet. We use clone prisoners as the face. You know what? There's something there. They're testing something. But let's get into the next episode. Episode 4, Cornet. This was actually a very fun episode. If you don't remember it, let's read what it was about. So this is episode 4. Episode 4 of The Bad Batch. Cornet. On their way to proposed hiding place on Ida Floor, the Bad Batch is forced to stop on the nearest planet, Pantora, so they can gather supplies and tech and modify their ship signature, since it now appears on the Empire's wanted list. A landing bay attended by Pantoran identifies the Bad Batch and informs Fennec Shand, a mercenary who's been hired to retrieve Omega. This is go back into our thing. Hunter, Echo, and Omega search for supplies while Tech and Rekka work on the ship. Omega is approached by Shand, which leads to Hunter chasing Shand through the city. Hunter and Omega lose Shand, and after modifications are completed, the Bad Batch departs from Pantora. So, a classic chase, bit of action, bit of movement. Not insanely massive to the plot drive of everything, but for a kind of just standalone episode that has a bit of action in it, I loved this episode. I really, really loved Fennec Shand. So I love that she came in this episode and came into this show here. But I just found it really fun. Just a really easy episode to watch. Really, really fun. Everyone in Star Wars has force potential. I guess so. All boats under the water or attached to a ship. What does that mean? Is that a saying? Is that a saying? Gafflane coming in and saying a 10 out of 10 for episode 4, Cornet. Love Fennec, but also the animation went so hard in this episode. I have a bunch of screenshots saved to my phone. I love that. They really blocked the render camera the way you would a physical camera. Yeah, just the pace and the intensity of this episode was really enjoyable. And you actually so right. The visuals, I mean, just in this one still, I've used like there's so many colors. Pantora, it's cool. It's cool to see more Pantorans in Star Wars. Such an iconic species for Star Wars. So I loved seeing this city. And yeah, I think, like I said, Fennec Shand, cool character. It was epic because this was only 6. Like this would be like 5 months. 5 months after Book of Boba Fett came out, and we had heaps of Fennec. Let's say, yeah. We only just had Fennec, and then we got to see her in animation, which was just such a cool jump. It's always awesome, in my opinion, when characters make that jump. He really is Rambo, 100%. Episode 4 is a 6 out of 10 for CT17. Fair enough. Sinister Maul is coming and saying, God, it was one of my favorites. We got to see the animated version of Fennec Shand and see how dangerous it was for the Bad Batch to work out in the open. Yes, and even the actual action that happens, like the chase scene, it felt like worthy of a chase scene, if that makes any sense. Like there was a height, they could have fallen, there was like actual speed, they actually moved. Like it wasn't just like they were running in the same spot and being like, oh no, like there was a lot of movement, like up the tower, around like the driving scene, the chase, like the physical running. There was the actual physical movement to it that made it felt very real in terms of like the stakes were real. So 100%. Down 10 Dead Bean in the house plus Fennec. I don't think he was in this one. I don't think Cad was in this. I think he shows up in that later one. But he's coming. Yeah, you're on episode 2 soon. It seems like Echo is taking care of Omega while Hunter butters. The composition of that shot makes me insane. I love that. That's so good. So good. Episode 4 was okay, so CG, but this was the start of the filler episodes. Yes, Fennec is great, but we're getting close to the dreaded Sid missions. Or maybe I'm too early for this. I think, yeah, no. I know what you mean, but the Sid missions are like at the end of the season, but we'll get to that. We will. Enjoy this one. Ming-Na Wen makes everything better. 8 out of 10. Wrecker and Tech sibling bickering, B-plot of the figuring how to be civilian. That's right. Echo's like a robot in this episode or something. That's right. Alright, so some mixed reviews on this one coming in and agreeing with CG, so CT17. Hey, that's fantastic. We'll make sure this is a great time to plug then. A great time to plug. Don't miss out. Tomorrow, we will be back on the channel talking about that book exactly. So same time tomorrow. So I'm glad you've just finished it because we're going to be going through it bit by bit here on the channel. So that's so exciting. I guess so. I mean, I would give it an 18. I love that. That's true. They did balance that well there. That's a good point. But that is episode 4. Cornet. I really love the coloring. Yeah, now you're saying it. The coloring is fantastic in this episode. Hey, there we go. Tim's the real one. He's the real one. All right, episode 5. We are going so on this not watch through, but talk through. I love this. Episode 5, we have Rampage. Not one of my favorites. Not one of my standouts for me of this episode. Regardless, we'll go through what this episode was about. Episode 5, Rampage. Hoping to discover who hired Shand, the Bad Batch go to Ord Mantell, where Echo knows of a Jedi informant named Sid. Ooh. She offers to find out about Shand in exchange for their help. Slavers have kidnapped a child named Moochie, and Sid will receive a reward from Jabba the Hutt if the Bad Batch helps her rescue the child. The Bad Batch finds and fights off the slavers, rescuing Moochie, who is a young Rancaller. Taking her to Sid, Moochie is given to Jabba's right-hand man, Bib Fortuna, in exchange for the reward. Sid gives some of the reward to Hunter, but is unable to learn who hired Shand. She offers to give the Bad Batch more mercenary work in the future. So, here's what we meet with Sid. This is just more of like a fun episode. This is more of just like I don't want to use the F word. But filler can be good or bad. This was like a mid-tier filler episode. It was interesting. Again, I think it was just like, we're still early in the season at this point of episode 5. So again, it was all about just asserting the characters of the Bad Batch and introducing Sid, who was kind of that touch point all through the next like rest of the season and season 2. So that was pretty critical. It was very Clone Wars. I'll say that. It's very, very Clone Wars to me, this episode. The fact that they had to like rescue this like ridiculous character and like do this ridiculous thing. Yeah, who's loving Moochie in the chat? I love Moochie. I don't think Sid's missions were necessarily bad, but it was annoying that you had to watch them all to know what was going on with the plot. I like you in isolation, but not as mandatory watches. Fair enough. My opinion, I'd give Rampage a 6 out of 10. You know what, Marcella, I think I would agree with you. I think I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, me too. It's because it wasn't the Rancor we see in Return of the Jedi, which they should have done that. I don't know why they didn't do that. There you go. That's so random. This one wasn't too bad. Sort of mid. It wasn't bad. I'd say good, not great. This episode started okay, but what's your butt, Appo? What's your butt? Hey, Andrew, coming in from Twitter. How you doing? Man, we are big Sid haters. To be fair, she's like a sleaze, slimy, bad person by season 2, so I kind of get you. Yeah, I think, it wasn't the same. Like, you have this opportunity. We see freaking Bib Fortuna. Like, if we're gonna see Bib Fortuna, like, make it the same Rancor, dude. Also, just like, the first character that came up as a cameo, which was like super fun, cut the great cameo. Bib Fortuna would not even been in like my top 50 characters to show up in this show. So that was hilarious that we literally got Bib Fortuna coming in season 1 of Bad Batch. Hilarious. This one was a little better than meh for me. I liked how Omega was the one to save the batch, and got her bow here. I think 6 or 7 out of 10. No, she gets her bow in just. I think it might be in the next one, the one after this. But yeah, it's a little over meh. I probably agree with that. Love Sid. I know she's a That's a great description. Problematic middle-aged lizard ladies. Problematic middle-aged lizard lady. That's hilarious. What a hilarious description. That's fantastic. This is how it describes Sid in a nutshell. She is Dolores Umbridge of the Star Wars universe. Oh, is that the pink lady from Harry Potter? Is that who that is? Maybe. But yeah. All right, let's get into the next episode. Now, this is the episode that Omega gets her bow. Episode 6 of season 1, Decommissioned. This episode, let me tell you about it. This is what happens in episode 6. Sid hires the Bad Batch to retrieve a separatist tactical droid for its battle intel before it's destroyed on the Corellian decommissioning site. They encounter police droids guarding the facility, as well as Trace and Rafa Martez, who are also after the droid. Wrecker accidentally hits his head, and the inhibitor chip begins to activate. Taken the sisters program the tactical droid to turn on the police droids, allowing them to escape, but the tactical droid is destroyed in the process. The sisters explain that they're retrieving it for a client who was fighting the Empire. Hunter gives them a copy of the droid's data that Tech made during the fight, and the sisters later tell the client how to find the Bad Batch. I love this episode. There's a lot of elements in this episode. Controversially, I already know, I haven't even looked at chat yet, but I already know a bunch of you don't like Rafa and Trace. I really love those characters. I thought it was so fun to see them. Again, this is kind of just a bunch of characters that fit this world really well and fit the Bad Batch. Not only animation, but just world really well. I love seeing them. I really love seeing them. But this also starts the really interesting storyline of Wrecker's chip activating, which was kind of wild. That kind of started the wild storyline for the next few episodes. So, let's get into it. She wasn't Cat Lady. Jocasta knew. That's hilarious. Decommissioned was a solid 7 out of 10. It's a CT-17. She had already burned this one because they're teaching you how to use it. Oh. Maybe you're right. Am I mixing that up? I think is it from the slavers that they get it from? I think you're right. This like will never not surprise me that you like the Martel sisters. Thank you, Sin City. Thank you. Thank you. We all have something to learn from Sin. They're good. They're good characters. It's cool. See, why are people so... Like, okay, literally explain to me. If you don't like the Martel sisters, literally give me, like, a couple good reasons. Why? Why don't you like them? That's good. Yes. The other fantastic thing about this episode, JS points it out, is there an Echo in here? And Echo says, it's my time to shine. Like, well, he didn't say that, but he's such a good joke. Such a good joke. Is there an Echo in here? Yes. So good. So good. I need to hang out here more often. I'm going to bask in people liking the Martel sisters for once. I know. I think it's pretty much like me, Sin City, and that's it. I like him for the same reason I like Andor. You like Andor? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. They serve the great purpose in the stories. They did. They did, yeah. They were like a silver platter for Ahsoka's storyline in season 7 to happen. That's my opinion of the Martel sisters. Like, and that was a really interesting story that they did. The whole slave trade, freaking Kessel, loved that in season 7. So yeah, love it. Yes! Oh, yeah, and don't mention the really interesting fact that they're like, hey, the Jedis are kind of like asses. That's kind of wild. I love that. I love that. But yeah, I totally agree. That makes them interesting. It's so interesting how we all have different opinions. Anyway, Graph Web coming in with the $2 For the good Lord's sake, cancel Disney Plus. I love that you gave $2 to say that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting me here. That is very kind and generous of you. Thank you so much. You spent $2 to say that. That's so fun. That is so fun. Thank you so much. Oh, I've always had a attitude to my sisters. Didn't hate them. Wasn't wild about them either. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't dislike the Mantle sisters. I just didn't like the episodes in season 7, and that made me feel a bit negatively towards them. That's crazy because I thought those episodes were super deep. Jason's here. Oh, I love it. I love it. How you doing, Jason? We're only up to episode 6 of 16, so we've got a long night ahead. So you're in for a treat. Sin coming in saying, not rich, powerful Jedi or connected politicians, just regular people. They were there to show Ahsoka people didn't trust the Jedi or politicians and believed it didn't matter who was in charge. 100%. 100%. And I get baffled how people can't read that. Because it's the most powerful part of that story. Like, yeah, it's like, okay, we did this mission, Kessel back and whatever. But that was the key thing. All of that kind of riff-raff around, well, pun intended, reffer, all the riff-raff around was kind of to enable Trace and Ahsoka to and Rafa really to all connect deeper, to have this conversation of the greater experience of the war. Ahsoka knows the war on the front line and as a Jedi, but how is it for the billions of people experiencing it on the physically and metaphorically lower levels? So yeah, I love it. I love the storytelling of the Martel sisters. It's so good. Agree with Sin has to say about the sisters. I really like them. I hope they return for season 3. That'd be cool, actually, if they popped in again. That'd be cool. 1313. Oh no, this Star Wars Underworld game. Yeah. Continue with MC Timeline Marathon by social engagement. My people that. Yes! Yeah! We're social engagement. Wait, is that us? Is that us? Are we the social engagement? Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Yeah. The Wrecker part really... Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the Wrecker part. This is nuts, dude. Murray had such a great point here. The Wrecker part really fueled my anxiety because I knew where they were going to be going with it. That opened things up for a potentially tragic outcome. And especially because we don't know these characters as we're watching them, like, the outcome of them afterwards. Like, for all we knew, like, Wrecker was going to, like, die in, like, the next episode. That, you're so right. The intensity of it, the stakes were high. There were real, believable, high stakes. Very, very good storytelling with Wrecker's friendship. Very scary. Scary stuff. Love the episodes that were super deep. It doesn't like Andor. Don't you start it. Freaking up in the mountains, getting the coins from a dam, Andor. My buddy's here. Live action did us. Who's that? Are you trying to say Ballista? Their role was to awaken Ahsoka, average people's take on life, and feeling for unnoticed, unimportant, really brought home her misgivings about the Jedi. 100%. It almost validates her that her decision of, I want to be a good person, I want to be doing good in the Jedi, in the galaxy, and I can't be that if I'm staying a Jedi. Like her meeting Tracer Rubber validated that choice of hers, which I think was such a key thing for her character. So fascinating. It's one of these episodes, not sure if it's because of the characters or just like level 13. Here we go. Level 13. Wrong way. I like Ruffy so much that I do. Yeah, their hairstyles are great. The half shave. I want to try it, honestly. Maybe that's that. I'll start my Ventress cosplay. I'll do a half shave. Oh! Is that the big bald guy? Is that the guy that tank of a man? That guy? Man, I'm so not up with MCU. But anyway, Decommissioned. Cool episode. Start of the intensity of Wrecker's inhibited chip. Episode 7, we got Battle Scars. Let me go over this episode if you forgot what happened in this episode. Battle Scars, episode 7. After they failed to return with the tactical droid's data, Sid tells the Bad Batch they will need to get to do a big job to pay off their debt to her. They're interrupted by Trace Ruff's mystery client, their old friend, Captain Rex. He's alarmed to learn that the Bad Batch have yet to remove their inhibitor chips, as he has. We go to Baraka, the starship's graveyard planet controlled by the Scrapper Guild, and sneak onto an old Jedi cruiser to use its medical bay. Wrecker's agitation activates his chip and he attacks his teammates, but he is subdued and the chip is removed. Rex takes his leave once the extractions are completed. As they say goodbye, Hunter is seen by members of the Scrapper Guild. So this is the scary Wrecker's chip activates. Rex is there. They're trying to get it out of him. Episode. This is a cool episode. Oh no! Before I get into it, you really want to refire your dislike of Kiri Monday? Watch the episode where the council kick Ahsoka from the Order and almost joy him to take kicking her out. Screw that. Thank you. Yes, him and his freaking long ass hood standing in the council chamber was so upsetting. I purposely can't watch that episode because I get so triggered by it. yeah, my haircut. Hilarious. Anyway, this episode. So the chip, Wrecker's inhibitor chip activates. Great intensity. I feel like I'm a broken record. I keep saying that, but really, honestly, this episode has such interest to it. Very interesting to see it actually activate and him turn on the rest of the Bad Batch. Super, super cool to see. And the fact that Rex got involved again. I mean, the reveal of Rex being in the show was fantastic. It was kind of expected. Everyone was like, oh, Rex is in the show. We all love Rexy Boy. So it was fantastic to see him involved in this way. Especially, I mean, we're talking a lot about season 7, but that's okay. Especially because the main thing that we just saw of Rex was in season 7 when he got his chip, when Order 66 happened. And his chip went off and Ahsoka had to take it out. So I love that this was a bit of a connection to that the episode he's coming back in is to help other clones not do what he did and to get their inhibitor chips out. I love that that's the kind of the point of this episode. Really, really interesting. Hey, Zemi in the chat. How you doing? Marcella coming in saying 9 out of 10 for this episode. Again, put your rankings out of 10 in the chat for this episode. 9 out of 10, that's nice and high. Yeah, I think I have to rate it about a 9 out of 10. I would agree. Not too much I would fault, and it was just such a great reveal of Rex. Again, everyone wanted him in it, and he's in. It looked so good. Yeah, so that's that big bald guy, right? We want to play Wrecker. He already irritated about Drax was supposed to change comic relief in the clown. Is that the Marvel guy? There you go. Kirsty's saying, I like this one. Nice little tie-in with Fallen Order. Yes, Baraka! Freaking, yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about just going to the planet of Baraka was super cool. I love that. Love the Wrecker and Omega relationship, 100%. 8 says Chicken Texas as well. This was a great episode, says Eppo. Here's a... Oh, Tim's talking about something else. Great episode, says Apo. 100%. Get your numbers in for this episode. We're about to move on to episode 8. Let me just grab a beverage. I'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. All right. 10 out of 10 says Gaffleen. Another good tier animation episode, to be honest. Rick's had a lot of dynamic expression to this episode. And when he walked off into the mist, it was like reading mythology, what reading mythology looks like. Yeah, the exit and entry of Rex was really good. And I agree, the look of this episode, the darkness, the shading, the lighting of this episode was fantastic. Oh my god, he did. Rex felt like Aragon in this episode, 100%. This was a good episode, says CG. I'd say 7 or an 8 out of 10. Aragon is a good character. Yeah, Aragon is a 10 out of 10. Aragon and Faramir, 100%. Faramir was such a drongo. I love Faramir. Yeah, I love how everyone's agreeing this. This is so fun. I am refreshed now. I have my water. The whole has done amazing things with this episode, it was so dark. Seeing the rigged brig and things of this ship was so cool. But that's episode 7. Let's move it on. Denethor or Theoden? Theoden. What's the line he says? Theoden says? Oh, no, yeah. That's the best line of the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. When he's in that state. You are no more here. It's classic. Anyway, episode 8 of The Bad Batch, season 1. Reunion. Let's get into it. We're still on Braca. What the hell happened in this episode? Episode 8, Reunion. The Scrapper Guild informs the Empire of the Bad Batch location. Crosshair is sent to kill them. Concerned that Omega will not be returned safely, Lama Su hires a second bounty hunter to retrieve the girl. Crosshair cuts the Bad Batch off from their ship. They attempt to escape through the cruiser's ion engine. Crosshair pins them inside and has the engine turned on, but they use explosives salvaged from the cruiser's armory to escape. Crosshair is injured by the engine's ignition. Hunter and Omega are confronted by a bounty hunter, Cad Bane. Here we go. There you go, Dingley. Who shoots Hunter in the chest and kidnaps Omega. The rest of the group catch up, carry injured Hunter onto the ship and escape. So this is a full-on episode. I love the panic. You really feel the panic of holy shit, we're not on a mission anymore. The Empire's here, they're onto us, they're getting us. It feels so palpable, the panic to escape in this episode. And for the whole episode to happen, you feel like they're away, and then the final moments, Cad Bane. Again, this is the 6th character now of a cameo, but again, it fits well. Cool character, really well loved, and he fits with this storyline. So I love seeing him come back in this way. But what do we think? Yeah, it's so good. It's such a great line, right? I love the gray. Any Crosshair episode is a comfort episode for Tim, he says. Crosshair episodes were awesome, agrees Dennis. He kind of became the best character as this has evolved, especially after they let Tech fall 100%. I love it when Chat screws up. Oh no, Yava! Are you with us, Yava? Crosshair kind of looks like Clint Eastwood. Yeah, I kind of see the hairline. Like the scowl, the frown. Kind of looks a bit Eastwoody. But reunion, really, again, still on Braca. Crosshair's terrifying in this episode. He's like, I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching through season 1, I kept thinking, oh, like Crosshair's about to like turn and come back. That just never happened. Like, it just didn't happen. And it got progressively worse and worse. And it really came through like just so notable in this episode for me, because I was like, okay, he is really just like wanting to literally incinerate his brothers, which was incredibly sad. So much ice in that water. Oh my god. Woo. I have seen the early reviews, but try not to read into them too much. Crosshair was good at predicting the gang what it would do at certain points, but forgot the chaos that they can create in their wake. Got air fry extra spicy for his trouble. Yeah, it's a good point. That was another great thing of this episode where, yeah, you're totally right. I forgot to mention this point. Like Crosshair predicting, yeah, like what you said, all the things that they were going to do tactically. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. This is the one where he murders the governor? No. I don't think so. There's no governor on Braca. What if Crosshair never turns back? Would you be disappointed? I think I would. But I think he'll turn. I'm so confident he'll turn back. So. Oh, okay. Appa never wanted Crosshair to come back. Really? You see, I like the ones with Crosshair. It adds extra tension. He shows how well he knows his brothers. We're predicting what they'll do. 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, me too. I started seeing them pop up on my feed. I wasn't looking at too deeply at the reviews and things. Sin City, the episode where Crosshair was out in the snowstorm and helped the clone back from the die. That shows he's questioning everything. Yes, this one, like, he probably will turn. I think he will turn. That was I only watched like last week or something. That's great. But we'll get to that on not tomorrow, but the day after. We're going to be going through season 2. Oh, I'll have so much to say on that episode. Crosshair wasn't us. Yeah, good point. I think they all had defined personalities, yet had growth. 100%. Jason. Very defined. Very, very defined. You know, then it's that whole thing of like, even though they're clones, they're not the same. They're very, very different. They're very, very different. Pixie, bring my boy Tech back. I don't know if he will. I think Crosshair turns. If Crosshair turns, it's only turning to help save his brothers. Yeah, I don't think he will be like, oh, I'm going to be the savior now in terms of like the galaxy and everything. I think he'll turn to save. Probably Omega, because that relationship has been going deeply since, actually go back to Aftermath episode 1, and you have when they're in the brig, like the holding cell, and Omega is like, I can sense, like, I can feel that you're angry and you're frustrated, and Crosshair like didn't want to connect with that. Like from that moment, it's like, okay, these two are going to have a deep connection, and we'll get to their connection at the end of the season as well. Very interesting. There's too much Star Wars media of good Imperials becoming rebels. There's like, who? Literally who? That guy from Rebels? I've already forgot his name. Callus? I don't know. We talking why Crosshair is one of the best characters in Star Wars animation? Yeah, well, kind of, yeah. Literally, we're just saying that, yeah. Is he though? Is he, Oma? I don't know. Adam Versio. Freaking old mate Hux. I got a funny story about the sequels. Someone remind me at the end of the stream. I got a funny stories about the sequels. Look how the side of his head was mangled. Yes, so intense. The chip. They played with his chip repeatedly and scrambling his spine attitude. Some lab rat. He knows it, but he can't do anything about it. It is, and I think that whole fact is what makes it so intense and so hard to read. Of like, okay, how much is this of his own mind and his own decision, and how much is it the like horrific? I like that. Well, how did you describe it? Scrambling his mind and attitude like some lab rat. great explanation and description. I agree. Same thing. It would be more intriguing to have Corset never turn and even kill Hunter. But I'd argue his feeling is probably more emotional. It'd be very fascinating to see how that would be played out if he kills one of the Bad Batch. And what happens? What happens to that story there? And where's the vindication for our protagonists? Very interesting. Just doing the job, continuing the Republic. That's a good point. You think about the Cody Crosshair episode? Do you think we'll see Vader at the end of the season? Of season 3? Maybe. Could be. Well, let's get on to the next. Oh, I think I've missed an episode. Holy shit. Because we go from episode 8 to episode 10. Oh my god. Oh my god, we did. We totally missed one. Where is it? Oh no, hang on. I think what I've done. I see what I've done. It says episode 10, but it is actually episode 9. Yeah, my bad. This is episode 9. This is the next episode. Bounty Lost. It's just episode 9, not 10. This is the cat episode. Here we go. Bounty Lost. While chasing after Bane, the Bad Batch learns from Tech that Omega is an unmodified replication of Jango Fett, making her the only available source of fresh cloning material. What a way to say that. Fresh cloning material? En route to an old Camino cloning facility, Borovio, for her delivery, Omega tricks Bane's droid to aid Toto in releasing her and is able to signal the Bad Batch. Lama Su sends Tanwi to retrieve Omega and orders Nalase to eliminate the girl after extracting genetic samples from her. Concerned for Omega's safety, Nalase sends Fennec Shand to rescue Omega. Kills Tanwi and Jules Bane, allowing Omega to escape, and is retrieved by the Bad Batch. I like this episode. Cool characters. Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, great matchup. Then we've got the Kaminoan, the trifactor of Kaminoan memes. We've got Lama Su, Nalase, and Tanwi. Dead. Tanwi's here. Classic. There's Daddy Bane. There he is. I know. I don't know what I was doing. Dad Bane. Yeah. I know. I should cancel it. Just end it now. That doctor gives you the heebie-jeebies. The episode with Cad Bane is bang. It is. Cad Bane and Fennec love them against each other. Ming-Na makes everything. I love that. I love this. Yes. 18.5. I love it. But yeah, put your ratings down for this episode. Bounty Lost. There's action. There's a lot of deep storytelling. Okay, this comes back to our discussion of like Omega has something. What is it? It's not the Force, but she has something because the whole point is that who is it? Lama Su. I always get the names confused. They're too similar. Lama Su sends Tanwi to retrieve Omega and orders Nalase to eliminate the girl after extracting genetic samples. So they want Omega's genes for some reason. And I think that reason is because they've maybe successfully done some cloning. Maybe they've successfully cloned her to have some sort of enhancement that is interesting. So, yeah, it comes back to that. Back to that. 7 out of 10 on Bounty Lost, says Sinister. Love it. Caddy Boy is the best bounty hunter. I don't know. Enbo gives him a run for his bunning. The atmosphere, yeah, true. The planet this episode is on is very interesting. ST says Kathleen, 10,000 out of 10. Excellent action, sweet family moments, Omega resourcefulness, the combo between Fennec and Omega. Yeah, I agree. These two have a fantastic connection here. Landing in the fog in this episode was so good. Cad Bane appearing out of the fog like a sleep paralysis demon. That's true. Well, okay, hang on, chat. Before we go any further, before we can have any more discussion, what do you guys think of his hat? I don't know about it. What do we think of Cad's new hat? I don't love it. I think I prefer his big old one. I don't know. Let me know what you think. What do you think of his new hat he had this? Really? You like it, the slightly smaller one? Yeah, me too. That's why I was like, it could be bigger, I think. Does Din fit into that? You're getting that hat? I love that. Of course you are. Of course you are. Where does Din fit into the Power rankings? Oh, he's like a 5? Maybe 4? Probably 4. Love the hat. Reminds me of the Space Cowboy, but yes, I like the bigger one from the clones. Yeah. Yeah. But because in Bad Batch, he has a slightly smaller hat. So do you prefer the small one or the big one in the Clone Wars? I prefer the big one. Bigger hats, says Kirsty. Okay, yeah. Threefold, so glad he has the Toro. Yeah. Toro. God, my brie Toro and can't help me. Yeah, Toto. It's classic. This hat reminds me of an empty box of cereal. You got me. You drew me in there. Because it's trash. I don't know, it just looks too small for him. I don't know. It's funny. But I like the big ones with the big hats. That's what she said. Episode 10. The real episode 10. Common ground. Common ground. We got. See? Hats, I mean. Yeah, you betcha. Common ground. Episode 10. What do we got? Episode 10. Very cool planet here. What happened in this episode, you ask? Let me tell you. On Raxus. You like how? Should I make my whole face for the entire screen? There we go. Let me tell you about this episode. On Raxus, which was the seat of the Separatist government during the Clone Wars, the Empire institutes new curfew laws with the support of local Senator R.V. Singh. While addressing the public, Singh speaks out against the Empire, instead is arrested. His protocol droid, GS-8, hires Sid to help rescue Singh and sends the Bad Batch, who are reluctant to help after fighting against the Separatists in the Clone Wars. Omega is left behind due to the multiple bounty hunters that are targeting her, and she wins Sid enough money playing Dejaki to pay off the Bad Batch's debt. With the help from GS-8, the Bad Batch rescue Singh and take him to Sid for payment. Boom. So, common ground. For some reason, I don't really jive with this episode. But the one thing that I really like is seeing Raxus. I wondered what happened to Raxus, and we find out in this episode. So I loved seeing this planet again. Of course, we saw it a little bit in the Clone Wars. The key planet is the central planet for the CIS, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, or Separatists. Yeah, it was that good. Was that good? So I love seeing Raxus, but apart from the Raxus episode, I didn't love. It's like Omega playing gambling to get the debt. Where it was kind of funny, and the plotline of rescuing Singh was just okay, this is another mission. I didn't love this episode. Yeah, she was written to be. She's not written to be likable. Mission. Yeah, true. Well done. They achieved that. Coming Out was a pretty good episode. It says Apo. This one was with the ATT. Yeah, it was. That's right. And it was coming. That was actually a pretty cool scene when it was going through the town square, and then commandeer it. It's fun. Common Ground. Oh, wow! There you go. Common Ground is my favorite after the season opener for the season. 9.5 says Sinister. Jeez. High rating. It's kind of funny that I'm often having a slightly opposite opinion. That's really, really interesting. I mainly liked it for the military aspects and seeing them infiltrate the base and escape. That was very cool. It was very Bad Batch. The whole how do we get around this felt very Bad Batch. So I can appreciate that. But it's cool. It's a solid episode. It's a solid episode. He's on us today. He's on today. Oh, it's so good. So good. Episode 10. Common Ground. We ready for the next episode? We've still got 6 more to go. Before we move on, I like the conflict of the clones for this one having to help a Separatist, and I liked Omega sitting Out on a mission, but still helping the team by clearing their debt. 7 out of 10. I think I enjoyed seeing the Bad Batch without Amiga for a minute. I agree with that. That was kind of interesting. Thank you. I'm known for my fantastic impressions, so I'm living up to my name. Boom. Episode 11. I may have misspelt this one, but no one read that. Episode 11, Devil's Deal. That kind of reads Devil's Deal. Devil's Deal. My apologies, my mistype. Episode 11. What do we got happening on this episode? When Senator Ornfried Tar announces a new Imperial refinery on Ryloth and encourages Twi'lek freedom fighters to disarm, Resistance leader Cham Syndulla publicly supports the Empire. His lieutenant Gobi Glai takes Cham's daughter Hera on a secret mission to retrieve new weapons that are delivered by the Bad Batch, during which Hera befriends Omega. Crosshair tracks them and the Empire arrests Glee and Hera for treason. Cham attacks the Imperial convoy to rescue them with his wife Eleni and other freedom fighters, but Crosshair shoots Ornfried Tar, which enables Rampage to frame Cham for Tar's assassination. Cham, Eleni, and Glee are arrested while Hera escapes. We are back on Ryloth, baby. This is one was heavy episode. Very familiar faces of Ornfried Tar and of Ryloth the place, but then also the new faces of Hera from Rebels, but also her parents, Cham. Well, kind of a mix of everything, mix of Clone Wars and Rebels, really, in this episode, which was really, really cool. It feels like they seem comedy of Megan's too. That's true. A small Hera episode, good fun for Rebels fans. That's a great way to describe it. Don't mention it. 8 out of 10. Of the two-parter, young Hera is great. Love seeing Chopper and seeing Cham trying to be more chill and wanting to retire was really interesting. Eleni was also awesome. Yeah, to see Hera's mum I really, really loved. 8 out of 10. The Gasoline. Apo gives this a 9 out of 10. I just love Ryloth. I really love Ryloth. I loved seeing it again. It was cool to see because it gets me here. Loved returning the Ryloth, seeing young Hera meeting her mum, great episode, and seeing how the Empire took over. 9 out of 10. I might quickly actually just jump into the next episode because you're all right, it is a two-parter, because there's the episode 12, which is Rescue on Ryloth, which is just very quickly. Hera contacts Amiga and asks the Bad Batch to help rescue her parents. Mantle does not think such a mission would be worth the risk, but Amiga convinces him to intervene. Hera, Amiga, Tech, and Wrecker attack the new Imperial refinery on Ryloth as a distraction, while Echo and Hunter free Cham, Eleni, and the other freedom fighters. Crosshair discovers this and sets a trap for them, but clone Captain Hauser, fantastic character, is loyal to Cham, warns the escapees of the trap, and confronts his fellow soldiers. Hauser is arrested, but the Bad Batch and freedom fighters escape. Rampart realizes that he has underestimated the Bad Batch and gives Crosshair permission to hunt them down. My opinion, this episode really shifts the energy to the season. It shifts the energy of the Empire's just too big for the Bad Batch. They're too big. They're too everywhere. They're too involved with everything. Even with the energy and efforts of freedom fighters or rebellions, these things of like the people of Ryloth, the Hauser, the Bad Batch, like it's just too big. It's just too big. I spent these two Ryloth episodes terrified Hera's mum was going to die, and then when she survived, it was an automatic win. That's true. I really thought she was going to die too. I thought someone was going to die. Well, let's just appreciate that it was freaking Ornfried Tar. I hate that guy. I love Twi'leks. Yeah, they're a great again, one of those just like iconic species. Iconic. Thanks, Sin. Hauser was such a boss. Loved his arc. Yes, great. I might have voted him. Did I vote him S tier? I cannot remember. But I loved Hauser in this. He was so cool. And it was so epic that the final moments of the episode, and he walks out and confronts. And he gives that speech of not to just listen to the Empire. Was awesome. I really love Hauser. So cool. Tim is back. He's back, baby. I never tells me what tier though. I don't know. But thank you so much, Tim. Joining the gang once again. We have a new master in our ranks. Oh my god. Now I gotta go into the change everything. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. We have Master Tim back in the ranks. I love it. You'll be joining us for our master exclusive discussions that we're going to be having for each episode of Bad Batch Season 3. We're going to be having just the masters and me discussing each episode on Sunday nights for the whole of Season 3. So it's going to be really exciting. You're going to be involved in that. So cool. So cool. Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate the support, man. Means a lot. There he is. Sharing the love. Kersey, again, brilliant episode. Felt like a good mix of the Clone Wars, Rebels, and Bad Batch. Another 9 out of 10 for me. See, Kersey, you say you didn't like Bad Batch. You are rating these episodes all very high. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Threefold coming in saying, felt like these episodes show the size and power of the Empire, but also many groups of people who will rise up against the tyranny. Amazing. What are you doing Sunday nights? Is it because of the time? Let me know what, I posted in the YouTube for Masters. Let us know if there's maybe a better time. But yeah, these Ryloth episodes, they're solid. They kind of, and what Threefold just said there, it really shows the kind of the part of the the Empire's power at this point. It really cements that. I love Orn Frita as a caricature of leaders from countries like NK or Russia or other certain government officials that are more controversial. Good point. Thriving while people suffer. It is, yeah. And Star Wars has always been that. George did that from the get-go of just reincarnating these figureheads into fictional stories, but for us to learn something from. That's really funny. Kirsty. I love that. Getting into the next episode. Coming in at episode 13. It's a great haircut. Best hair of all the Star Wars. Episode 13, Infested. What is this episode about? Let me tell you. The Bad Batch return from a mission to find Sid's parlor under the ownership of crime boss Roland Durand. They find Sid outside and she reveals the plan to take back the parlor by stealing a shipment of spice from Roland that is intended for the Pike Syndicate. Again, another great little random cross over here with the Pikes. The Bad Batch and Sid enter her office via the underground tunnels infested with a hive of Earlings, I think are they called. They successfully retrieve the spice, but are chased down by Roland's guards who awaken the hive. The group escape from the tunnels, but the spice is taken by the hive. They are caught by the Pikes, who take Omega hostage while the Bad Batch and Sid retrieve the spice from the hive. The Pikes then let Sid reclaim her parlor. So this, not a standard episode. This was just a bit of a Sid. We need to make a fun pun, like a Sid. It's not a side story, it's a Sid story. A side spelled with a C, side story. Because it was just a side thing to happen. Kind of interesting. I don't know. Oh, okay. You're not gonna watch season 3? Could be good. Gotta get that Rex content. The struggle of deciding if I should show... Oh, sorry, I've read this one. Yeah. Don't love this episode. Yeah, okay. Are we all agreeing on this? I'm it wasn't okay. It was alright. It was okay. It's fun. Sure. By far my least favorite episode. I like the Rebels link. Otherwise, I don't see what it brought to the show. Yes, I agree. I don't see what it brought to the show. Sometimes there's those kind of side missions that happened where it doesn't have much to do with the story, but there's some character thing that we learn. In this episode, there's neither. There's nothing that really affects the storyline, nor do we learn anything new about the characters. So it was just like, okay, this happened. This happened. So 5 out of 10. I probably agree with you. I'd probably give it like a 5, a generous 5 out of 10. This episode like this that stopped the Bad Batch from being great. I don't know. I would call it great. You know what? I would say, for me, I would say this is what makes the Bad Batch great, but not perfect. That's what I would say. But fair enough. Yeah, no story or character point, which you need at least one of those two. The best episodes have both. The good episodes have one. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go. That's great. Anyway. The bad episodes don't have either story or character points into it. So, yeah. I kind of get it. Yeah. Which of the race squad know what I'm referencing here? What was the other things that we could do? There we go. That's great. Look at that. That's stunning. Hilarious. Did anything in the episode affect the rest of the season? If it was cut, I don't think it would have been noticed. Yeah, I agree. I don't think if it was cut, nothing would change. Yes, me too. It really was. Your submissions at least brought the character development and progress of the story. Somehow you could remove this one, it would have zero impact. Yes, I love how we were all saying the same thing. Yeah, what was this? Was it this one? That's so random. Yes. Oh, I removed myself. This is the best one. Hilarious. We are getting so off track here. I love it. But yes, this episode, Infested, not fantastic. You could easily not watch this in a rewatch. I often see like, oh, okay, we learnt this tiny thing from this one episode, but even I am like, what was this for? Okay, next episode. We got episode 14. We're getting into the finale episodes here and the storyline of the finale here. So let's get into it. Episode 14. We got War Mantle. What was this one about? Let me tell you. Episode 14, War Mantle. The Bad Batch are contacted by Rex, who asks them to help a clone Commander Gregor, who is sending out a distress signal from the planet Daro. At the source of the signal, they find an Imperial base with conscripted troopers are being trained by clone commandos to replace the clone trooper army. Hunter, Tech, and Echo infiltrate the base while Omega and Wrecker stay in the ship as backup. The Bad Batch rescue Gregor, but Hunter is captured during the escape. On Camino, Lama Su and Nala Se plan to escape the Empire after the Empire cancels the clone army contracts, but they're caught by Admiral Rampart, who used Nala Se as a scientist, not Lama Su. Okay. This is the beginning of the downward intensity of this finale of the season 1 War Mantle. We get to see Gregor. That's another great episode, great character show up in an episode. Gregor, really cool guy. We love him. And we get to see this base, which was interesting to, again, add to the story of what's happening with this changeover of clones, where it was happening, how it was happening, why it was happening. We get to learn kind of more of these things in War Mantle in this episode. Clone Commander Gregor, you have nothing but this, boy. You heard Sin. You know what to do. Come right after 2. Great. Yeah, true. That is a good point. That was for the previous episode, right? War Mantle is such a great episode. I love the TK Troopers looks, concept art. Yeah, true. They use the concept art. Is that Macquarie? I think it's Macquarie art, isn't it? But yeah, I love the look of this episode. Cool planet. I love the name too. Operation War Mantle. Is that Scorch in this episode? Don't get me started on what they're all called. Dingo and Catch or something. Scorch. That's hilarious. Original art Gen 1, yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, eh? So cool. But War Mantle, I think, sets up for the next 2 episodes quite well of the darkness that happens. This isn't a super, oh, we survived another mission day. It was very dismal and like, oh my god, everything horrible is happening. And then going into the next 2 episodes, it just gets worse from here. So, yes, Dingo the Clone Commando. See, that rhymes! They should have had Dingo. That makes so much sense. Rappacore designs are always sick to see in motion. That's like half the reason Rebels is so cool, honestly. The final fight was really good, and seeing Hunter hit every branch and rock on the way down felt visceral. Yes. Having him like trying to exert his like skills too was really fantastic to see. I wish and I hope they actually showcase Hunter's skills more. I feel like that's underutilized. Like his skills are freaking sick. Did we have this in a discussion another week, like a couple of weeks ago? Having his skills are bloody cool, and I feel like they underused them. They could show them a little bit more. That'd be kind of crazy. We're gonna keep it rolling. My mind is blank on the details of this one, but I remember I enjoyed the most part of it. Give it a 7 out of 10 since I can't remember enough about it. Oh my god, yes. Let me, again, remind me at the end. Thank you for the $2 dues. There's so many great stories about... She did hit back, yes. Yeah. But let me tell you about that at the end. That's good. Thank you for asking, though. Yeah, it's essentially just them in this compound, in this training camp. Building... establishment, and Hunter being captured. That's War Mantle. The next episode. Here we go into the finale of season 1. This is kind of like a 2-parter of the finale. Episode 15, Return to Camino, goes a little something like this. Hunter is taken to Poker City on Camino, where the Empire has evacuated critical personnel and eliminated the rest. Crosshair activates Hunter's comlink, luring the rest of the Bad Batch into the trap. Mega shows the others the hidden entrance into Nalice's secret laboratory, where they were all originally created, and where they find friendly droid AZ-3 in hiding. They find Hunter, who tries to convince Crosshair to have his inhibitor chip removed, but Crosshair reveals that it's already been removed, and he is working for the Empire. Hunter stuns Crosshair as Rampart and under the orders of Tarkin begins destroying Poker City with the Bad Batch and Crosshair still inside. So here's the beginning of the finale. So epic. So epic of an episode. We're back on Camino. It's been 15 episodes since we last saw Camino. Very, very dark. It's eerie. Going through those couple of scenes at the start where Hunter's being taken through Camino and there's no one around. And there's just a few crates of supplies and there's nothing else around. We've seen Camino in the movies. We've seen it a myriad of times in the Clone Wars. For such, we've seen it in that Rookie's training episode. We saw it in the Arc Troopers episode. We saw it in some really critical episodes in storytelling for Clone Wars. I don't know about you, but I didn't know I had an emotional attachment to Camino until this episode. Until I saw it deserted, nothing happened, and we're going, what's going to happen to this facility? I'm a little scared. That's when I realized I'm a little worried for this place. And I didn't know how much I cared about Camino. I really didn't know until I saw this. I don't know what you guys, if you had a similar experience, but that was definitely how I felt. Really sad set of episodes. When have you said this? $5 dues since you keep ignoring my... When have you said that? Super nice dark color. Thank you. It's just my natural color. I haven't colored it. This is just... I'm assuming you're talking about my hair? Or talking about the room's darker or I'm darker? But thank you. I appreciate it. It's just because it's rarely out. That's probably why it's noticeable. But thank you. I appreciate it. When did you say that? But thank you for the $5 dues. I'm sorry it took you $5 dues to say. Hell nah, man. The Camino episodes, 10 out of 10. A really great episode. Emotional as hell. Yeah, I didn't like them destroying Camino. I think this is the first time we see wet hair animated in Star Wars. Wow, what a fact. Gee, you gotta come through these streams more often. You're giving us the facts today. I love it. Threefold coming in with another $5 dues with an amazing finale. It's threefold. The destruction of Camino and having the clones fire the guns was so sad and really signaled the end of an era. 100% agree. Thank you so much for the fiver. The last 2 episodes are epic so sinister, really getting to see the dark side of the Empire in action. Camino, he looked like the movies. The animation was so good. It really, really was. Really, really was. Uh-huh. 100%. The final establishing shots of the inside of the embedded Tapoka City were, that is honestly, that is up there with like the saddest episodes of Anakin falling in revenge, Satine dying, Ahsoka leaving the Order. Stop freaking doing effects on the screen. See, when I do a thumbs up, it gives me a thumbs up. Anyway, that montage of stills of like the corridors of Camino, of the facility, of the mess hall, of the room, like horrible, so sad. My god. Another double episode, really bloody good. Lots of emotional pulls and great dynamics between the batch, Crosshair feeling betrayed by them, never cared for Camino, but gutted to see both. Me too. Like, I never, if someone's like, oh, what's your favorite planet? I would never, like, think Camino. It would be in, like, my top 20. Barely. It would be, like, my, like, favorite planet. But when I got to these episodes, I was like, holy shit, this is such an emotional, and Appa, you're so right. Those establishing shots. Break your heart. It's the very first thing. Oh, my bad. Yeah, it could be the camera. We should be in 1080p, by the way. Things should be on the up here on the right side, so hopefully things are good. And yeah, you gotta be here more. It's a good time. It felt really bad for the robot all alone there, and it hit me how lonely that must have been, even though it's a droid. See, isn't that crazy that we can, like, Star Wars is so, like, emotional in that way that we feel empathy for a droid. Isn't that crazy? But I totally agree with you. And it's just, like, doing its thing. It's just still going around. It doesn't know it's about to be blown up. It's so sad. That is kind of crazy. I had to show you the whole place so I could bring back all your memories right before you shattered them. Yeah, it felt like when you have to move house and you like go look at all the rooms for the last time. You're like, oh, this was a great house. You will look at all the rooms. It felt like that. It was so heartbreaking. Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, but I mean, as we're having this whole discussion, let's talk about the final episode properly. The final one being called Camino Lost. The wreckage of Tapoka City begins to sink in the ocean. Rampart and the Empire depart, while the Bad Batch aim to escape the city before it fully submerges. Omega and AZ save Crosshair when they are trapped in a flooding room. Once the wreckage settles on the ocean floor, the group make their way up to the tube that leads up to their ship, but find it damaged. Crosshair suggests AZ guide them to the surface inside lab capsules, but the droid runs out of power on the way up. Omega tries to save him at the risk of drowning until Crosshair saves them both. When they each reach the ship, Crosshair chooses to part ways with the Bad Batch. Meanwhile, Nala Se is brought to an Imperial facility on Mount Tantus. A lot of facts in there, but like what we're kind of already talking about. Super sad. The Tapoka City falls to the bottom of the ocean. And then, that's not even the end of it, because we have these intense scenes where they're trying to get it back to the top. Mega's like trying to get AZ, which is really sweet. A lot happens. I feel for the clones, the little guys and gals, the regular folk, and many of the good female characters who are time and again amazing, smart, and strong. That's true. That is true. Appreciate you, Sin. Got the final shots perfectly. Exactly. Yes, right. Yeah, it's how it felt. It is kind of crazy. Hey, I like them because they all feel genuine and fully developed, not forced or preachy. Hey, good point. Ooh, yeah. The episode was way better, but 16 was unnecessary. That is also nowhere near bad. Yeah, it had to wrap everything up. It had to wrap it all up nicely, which I think it did that well. to go, okay, here's where we are. And then we have this conversation with the Bad Batch, the Crosshair. They're on the landing platform. They're like, come with us. And Crosshair says, no. Heartbreaking. Because, I don't know, but my point of view, the whole season, I was like, oh, he's going to go with them. He's going to go. And then he still chooses not to. Was kind of insane. But, yeah. It was a great wrap-up for season 1. It really was. I mean, we had the bit of action and suspense of them trying to get up to the top, but the actual ending of the episodes was very good. And also, mentioning, we said there's 3 folds. The Tantus reveal was massive for old EU fans. Yeah, Tantus coming back into the fold. Oh, pun intended, 3-fold. Was really interesting. And then the final shots of, who was it, Nala Say, being carted to Tantus was super interesting and obviously set up so much storytelling for season 2. So, love that fact. Love that fact. 15 was about the Empire and 16 was about the Bad Batch. 15 was better, but which is sadly the story of the show. True. Kathleen says, really just an amazing, solid series of episodes. 10 out of 10. The atmosphere was so good. I love it. I love it. Get your final rankings in. I think it's time we do a bloody poll on this show, actually, before we start to wrap up our thoughts for the final season. Let me just get the freaking poll making thing up. And I want to get your thoughts into the the whole season as a whole. What would you rate Why am I so slow at typing? Here we go. Here we go. Poll in the chat. Woo! Got it. I'm trying to say AZ, but someone has zero thought. Yeah, true. It's just like it's an impulse, is a good way to say it. Different topic, but if Kenobi season 2 comes and we're getting live action Steam flashbacks, not sure if I can watch it. Oh, don't. I mean, yeah, like I have to watch it. Like, yeah. 1, I so badly want season 2. 2, it has to have Satine. We got so close to a Satine mention in Mando 3. Like, they're teasing us with the Satine, like, knowledge. We have to get a Satine flashback. 100%. All right. Final thoughts of the whole entire season. Zoom in a little bit. What do we got? Kirsty coming in saying, when I originally watched the show, I would have given it a 6 out of 10. After rewatch, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Oh, there you go. I still don't feel as connected to the characters as I would like, but I enjoyed it. Yes, well, I'm impressed with that because, yeah, you weren't fully on board, but then it sounds like you've, kind of turned a couple of thoughts with this. Am I slightly out of focus? It's upsetting me. But I love it. And a 6 to an 8 is pretty good. I think the Bad Batch will be missed and then look back on overall a really wonderful show in addition to Star Wars. I totally agree. It'll have a similar, I think, experience to Clone Wars. Not as intensely, but Clone Wars is kind of, people love it. The people that love it really love it during. And then it's after where it starts to mature, like a fine wine or a cheese that it chews, it sits on the shelf and matures for a couple of years. And then people go, they were really great stories. They were really great characters. And we'll look back on them as a really great time. I think that's what I'm trying to savor the experience, especially of this final season. I want to save their experience for you all. Because I think the Bad Batch is going to be something that really a lot of fans will hold for a long, long time. So I totally agree. Sim. Thank you. I get this a lot. I appreciate that. Even though I'm not New Zealander, I love that. Mara Butler coming in, 7 to 8, strong beginning, strong ending, some good episodes in between. For sure. AZ is also probably closer to family to Omega, since it's kind of implied AZ was one of Omega's closest friends for years. 100% the show sitting. Thank God I'm not. Yeah, I'll be ugly crying. It's not never. Yeah, that's a vibe. 100%. I agree. I think I would be there with you. Imagine if they use the Clone Wars Kenobi flashbacks, not redone in live action, straight up with this scene. Well, that'd be kind of crazy. That'd be kind of crazy. 7 out of 10 for Tim, Master Tim, I should say, Master Tim. People hated the prequels. They hated Ahsoka and the Clone Wars, and they hated Rebels. But on occasion, time away helps. Well, you never know with the sequel. We never know with the sequels. You could be the number one Last Jedi fan in a few years. You never know. You never know. But let's look at the poll. What do you all think? Let's take a look at the numbers here. We have, wow, these are strong numbers. 56% of you saying 9 out of 10, and 44% saying a strong 7 or 8 out of 10. Woo. Get your votes in. Let me see where your rating's at. That's fantastic to see. More than half of you rating it a 9 or a 10 out of 10. This is the whole season. For the whole season. So cool. Bo-Katan having some sort of psychedelic religious experience. Having to face a class before it's fully sense the throne. Wow, that's kind of nuts, but I can understand. Why am I having a Wi-Fi drop? It's bizarre. We should be good. We're back on track now. There we go. If we need New Zealand, I wonder if yeah, probably does think that. $5 dues coming in threefold. You look back and forget the filler and remember the spectacular episodes full of emotion and intrigue, all that topped off fantastic animation. Yeah, because we've just gone over it. It's fresh in our minds. We're just running through the great concepts that are shown in this show. I think they did fantastic with cameos. I think they also thank you for the $5 dues if I didn't express that enough. Appreciate you. Keep me going here. But I think you're on the money. We have great cameos. We have Fennec Shan, Cad Bane, Cut LaQuaine, that rhymes, Bib Fortuna, Trace and Rafa. Like, those are just the freaking Hera. So many cool characters. So many cool characters come back in for a cameo. And they did that really well. They integrated into the story. They didn't feel weird. They didn't stand out. In terms of like feeling off, they didn't stand out feeling off. They fit the stories really well. So I loved the cameos of season 1. We have really interesting storylines and plot points of the inhibitor chips. We have the story of Wreckers activating. Very fascinating. And then the intensity of trying to get it out in time. I forgot to mention Rex in the cameos. And the discovery of the clones, the Bad Batch don't understand what happened with Order 66. And we're kind of with them on that journey. I love that we got to see them realizing what's happening. I think they did that very well. All these things, I think, made a really good season 1 in this show. I'm chatting just talking about the sequels. It's hilarious. Wouldn't be a stream with an Oznet without a few. I know. I have done a lot of tweaking. I've got like an extender and things, so it should be pretty, at least stable. Might not be perfect, but at least it's stable for now. At least it's stable for now. We're going to head out, but this was a great time. Can't wait to watch season 3 with everyone. Thank you so much for the great comments today, Gaff. I appreciate you. We're going live tomorrow and the day after, so we hope to see you then. If not, we'll see you for the countdown, the massive countdown show we'll be having for the season 3 premiere. Appreciate you. Have a good rest of the night or day. Let's take a final look at this poll. We got 52%, just over half of you rating it 9 or 10 out of 10. I love it. 7 out and 48% saying 7 or 8 out of 10. I love it. Bad Batch season 1. It's solid. It's wholesome. We get to see some cool characters. What more do you want? Chicken coming in with celebrating 11 months being a race squad member. I'm quite tonight. Got a lot of work done. Want to say thank you for the great entertainment. Well, thank you, Chicken. Thank you for just even being here, enjoying the vibes. I appreciate you. There's so many lurkers back then. I appreciate you all listening in. I love how we're just starting a whole sequels debate right now. Before I forget, everyone appreciate my shirt that I got. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me pick this up. How cool is it? It's just so random. I got this at what I call an op shop, but you would call a thrift store. It's just like, it doesn't really matter. It just says Star Wars, and it's just Attack of the Clones Anakin, and then Phantom Menace Anakin, and then I think that's even Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. It's just like a really cool Star Wars shirt, and yeah, I just got it at the op shop, so it's super fun. It's such a cool shirt. Follow me on Instagram if you don't, because then you can follow my little journeys here. But shirt, I know, how cool is it? I love it. So cool. There's a bunch of things I kept saying at the end of the stream remind me. Oh yeah, Tilly had she got a trial, so they accepted her for the job. She had a trial day, but then the boss was like kind of manic, so she said no, because she's crazy and they weren't going to pay her enough. So she's actually going to another place, which is actually kind of better and pays better. So that's the update on that. CG. As much as I want to continue, sadly I must hit the rack. I've got a busy work day tomorrow and a bit of travel. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much, CG, for dropping in. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the night and safe travels for work. Have a good one. That'd be kind of correct. Yeah, see? Ultimate, like, gang back together. That'd be sick. Oh, is it? I don't know, but the shirt kind of looks a bit earlier than Rogue One, to be honest. So that you talking about this thing? But he's got his saber out, like he's doing something. Anyway. Anyway. Well, gang. Yeah, I know. I'll let her know. Anyway, my goodness, almost a 2-hour stream with 30 of you here enjoying the fun. Fun doesn't end here. It does not end here. Tomorrow, we are back same time at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be going through Dark Disciple, which, if you didn't know, will probably have quite an intense connection into season 3. So I've just finished it just the other day and loved it. Thought it was very interesting. I have lots of thoughts. So if you've read this book, you're going to have a great time. It's got to be spoiler full. I will warn you now. Very, very much spoiler full. So if you haven't quite read it, up to you if you want to be spoiled or not. But we're going to be here tomorrow doing that. And it doesn't even end there. The day after that, which will be your Thursday here in Australia, we're going to continue what we did today, but for season 2, going over all those episodes, discussing our thoughts and feelings, and what has happened. So make sure you're here for that Dark Disciple show tomorrow, and Bad Batch season 2 recap day after that. Check out all the content if you haven't, with the radio hour dropping over the weekend with Star Wars Sith. We had a great conversation. It was lots of fun. You don't want to miss any of it. Thank you so much for hanging out today, guys. You all had some brilliant thoughts, some great just analysis of episodes, rankings. It was very, very interesting. Let me end this poll now. We've had plenty of that poll. It has been so fun. Oh my gosh, Brett, there's always one that comes in. Well, I've been here for 2 hours. You come in the last moment. 100%. But thank you so much, Brady, for popping in. Oh, yes. Taylor's show is on the 24th. So it's the weekend after the premiere. Imagine I streams a few days before or after. Yeah, we'll be streaming. Maybe not the day of. 100%. But yeah, the 24th. So it's still like a week and a half away. There you go. But thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow. So it's not that soon away. I hope you have a great rest of the night. Thank you for chatting season 1 Bad Batch with me. I appreciate you. And make sure you always choose the race side.